Guys, thanks so much for being here with me today. As you can see, I have collected a fair amount of Pokemon miniatures. I actually used to have like a whole tub. I'm so bummed out about this. In middle school, I was the biggest Pokemon nerd, and I knew that it wasn't okay, like, socially. It did not stop me. My Heart Gold Soul Silver Pokewalker was on my belt, and, I wore a belt, so maybe that tells you what you need to know about how popular I was in middle school. But high school, I was like, no, things are going to be different, and I got rid of so much of my Pokemon stuff, and I still have some of the older things. You'll see my miniatures, a couple of them are still pretty, old. They're from my childhood. But we've never had the chance to put them out. We've never been in a big enough space to be able to do that. But my wife and I have recently moved into a space that's big enough for me to put out my miniatures, and so I want to do that. And I want to do that in a fun way, in a memorable way, but also in like an affordable way. And so I'm using air dry clay, and I'm gonna make a miniature Pokemon stadium that I can put my figures on and have them battle it out, duke it out, and feel like the intro to the classic Pokemon games or Pokemon Stadium. I want it to have that feel to it. This is also a date night for me and my wife that you're kind of tagging along with. You're not going to see her or even really hear her in the video, but she is making clay projects as well, and she's definitely being a sensei to me while I'm doing it. So like the rolling pin, that's her idea. The clay is hers. The paper I'm using, that's her paper. She's an artist through and through. That's what she does, and she's very good at it. And so she saves me throughout, and at times, you won't see it because I did edit this video for you, but I do just stop and talk to her and ask her to explain the process. I don't know what this tool is called, but she gave it to me, so I'm using it, and it was really great for cutting things. So just, really appreciate that. And I'm even going to use it to, as you can see, sketch some things out on it, because I don't want, when I'm painting it, for that to be my first take on this. That was my heart behind using the paper as well, to kind of visualize it. But now I want to make sure I'm spacing things out, and I can wet the clay if I need to move lines and kind of smudge it out. So that's the process that I'm in right now. Someone might be able to explain the anatomy of a Pokemon Stadium better than I can. I've always thought that they're beautiful. They're definitely reminiscent of like soccer fields. You have like the goalie marks, where the goalie stands. It's kind of where the trainers are, but really the trainers stand off that and back one. And Pokemon stadiums can look different too, right? There can be terrain, and that's something I've thought about this as I was doing it. Like, what kind of terrain do I want to do? My wife, her first thought was grass, and I actually was like, no, that's a really good base. I can go through and add like clay miniatures of rocks later, or switch it up however I want to. But if I choose something too niche off the bat, then like that's what we're stuck with. So I'm gonna do a grass stadium is what I'm thinking. This is something about me. I like functional things. Not everything has to be functional. So I think this is an area of growth for me. But I wanted this to be able to do something. And so I wanted to be able to use it in like Pokemon card games. You do have the prize cards, which count how far away you are from winning. But I wanted to be able to do this. So I'm going to make a bunch of little clay Pokeballs, 12 in total. And you'll be able to move them. And so each party will be able to have one side of this, and they'll be able to move them across the stadium as they claim wins, and they can know how close they are to that win. This is me trying to make those Pokeballs. I just used the ring on whatever this tool is called that my wife also gave me to kind of size them out. They're still not perfectly sized together, but they all fit inside the holes, which was a major win for me. So if you're following along, use that tool. Drying took a long time, and we got there. And so now we're on to painting, which is sweet. I did ask my wife what her recommendations were for colors, and I looked through what she was painting on clay and said, like, hey, I like this red. Can I use this? And this green? And she was really helpful with all of that and helping me map it out. And so I'm just base layering grass right now. That's going to be the primary color on this bad boy is green. Maybe you guys know of grass that's not green. But for me, that's definitely what I think of. And I'm really going for like I want it to feel like the anime. Like, I know that the anime is not a Studio Ghibli thing, but I want it to have that feel to it. Just really lush, good green grass from a cartoon. And so that's what we're going for. I start just globbing the paint onto the clay once I realize, like, oh, this is going to need more than that. I didn't really want to waste any on the paper either, so I knew I wanted a nice thick coat of green, and I just went for it. I am putting it on the sides as I'm going, because I think that helps complete the picture more. You're seeing it from an aerial view, but I want to be able to look at this thing from, a 3/4 view or a side view even, and enjoy it. I switched back to the paper once I got close to the end, because I was like, I don't need that much anymore. I don't want to get stuck with a glob on there that I don't want. And we're getting there, man. I think we're like pretty much done with that base green, and so I'm mixing in a slightly darker shade of green that I can kind of sprawl across and give representative blades of grass to the stadium. And there were moments in this where I was like, oh, is this looking good? Am I making grass, or am I making camo, or am I making tiger stripes? And I guess I'll just say, like, I'm happy with how it turned out in the end. I've got no doubt in my mind that there are people out there who could make this, 10 times better. But I like mine for what it is, and it's been really cool to see my figures on it. Let me know, by the way, do you have any Pokemon figures, any Pokemon miniatures? I've been seeing them a lot at like Walmart and Target, and they look pretty cool, the ones that are out. I really miss they're like pencil toppers even, like just the tiny ones that they used to make that are just like good fat boys. I don't necessarily like, I know Fat Pikachu had its era, and like there's something about that I like, but I think a slimmer Pikachu is okay. It's cute. I'm good for that. But like especially like the fat Wartortle and the fat Blastoise, the fat Charmander, Venusaur, those are all really beautiful things. I think they need some more of that. I think that right now we're in like a super, like, they desire to be cute and very kid friendly, but I want to still, and I want them cute, that's sweet, but like I still want a pocket monster. I want it to feel like the little, 64-bit picture that's on my screen. Okay, so now we've got our Pokeballs, and we need to let this thing dry. Kind of looks like a crime scene. So we're just gonna, honestly, I just plopped them where they were and said, okay, I'm not gonna try and move that, because I didn't want it to, once I got red on the other side, I think it's just gonna get too hard to try and even them all out. Now we get to do the lining on the field, which is kind of like, I presume in Pokemon it's spray paint as well, but who knows, given the amount of Pokemon they have doing things. Maybe it's the, what's the new, like, lemur monkey art Pokemon, the graffiti, I can't remember its name. Maybe it's that. Maybe he's the one who makes the stadium's lines for them. But either way, that's what we're going in, and we're giving it that feel of just like, yes, this is a lived in, used in, cared for thing. The Pokemon train with their trainers on. But at the end of the day, we are here. It is ready, and it is time for battle. Neither opponent is moving an inch. Blastoise is locked in the heat of battle. Oh, and down for the count. It's super effective. Thanks so much for tuning in and watching this, and I'm excited to add to this as time goes on. Make sure to like and subscribe to get more Pokemon content. I'll see you in the next one.